Hello everyone, Mythical Monkey here, and today we're going to be doing a new sort of series on here, which is just me. I am not here with anyone else currently, but we are going to be going over Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown Live. No longer Friday Night SmackDown anymore. I don't know why I said Friday Night SmackDown. Anyway, we're going to get into what I thought of the segments on the show, and what I thought of the shows this week. Currently thinking on both shows that weren't exactly great this week, considering it was a backlash coming off of Backlash this year. So it just seems kind of odd that it just wasn't that great of a show. Mostly Money in the Bank qualifiers are what I saw. This will probably typically come out on this day, which is Thursday, and it will probably remain just on a Thursday, because Wednesday is when I really watch SmackDown, and Tuesday is really when I watch Raw, because I don't really watch them live anymore. I used to watch them live, but not anymore. Anyway, this is when the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live reviews will be going up. Anyway, let's start with Monday Night Raw. Wow, Monday Night Raw. What a show. Not really. So the show started off with, I didn't really get to watch the beginning because that was the last time I watched Raw live, and I missed like the first 10 minutes of it, but I didn't really get to see it. I know I just jumped in and it was just starting. The first match was Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens in a Money in the Bank qualifier. Of course, Braun Strowman wins this, and Kevin Owens lost to Braun Strowman. It was entertaining at some points, but I was more distracted during this match. There's nothing much really to say of that qualifier match. May I remind you that Money in the Bank briefcase looks like someone slapped the word Money in the Bank on some really small briefcase, because it does not look good at all. The Money in the Bank briefcase this year looks terrible for some reason. Like, the women's Money in the Bank last year looked good. The Money in the Bank last year for the men's looked good. The past Money in the Banks have looked good. This is not good. This is terrible. Like, if you want to see, I'm sure you can look it up on their YouTube channel or their WWE YouTube channel or the WWE.com. I'm sure there's a picture of the briefcase on there, but what I'm talking about is it does not look good at all. I was watching Monday Night Raw with the person I do the pay-per-view predictions and reviews with. I was watching it with him, and he was like, I was talking about the match, and I'm still sitting there. Why does this briefcase look like trash? It honestly looked like garbage. It wasn't great. It didn't look good. It honestly wasn't great anyway. Let's see, what else do I remember from Monday Night Raw? I'm not gonna go match to match to match like I did with the pay-per-views, or what I like to do with the pay-per-views. I'm just gonna go on like key highlights of what I remember from the Monday Night Raws and SmackDown Lives. I believe there was a No Way Jose segment with Baron Corbin. Was there a No Way Jose segment? I'm not sure there was. I don't think there was a No Way Jose segment. Or was there? I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, there was a little bit of a 3MB reunion there with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler versus Heath Slater and Rhino. And then I believe Heath Slater and Drew McIntyre went face to face. 3MB reunion. We just need Jinder Mahal in there, actually. Yeah, get rid of Jinder Mahal off the main event. We don't need Jinder in the main event at all. Never gonna go for Jinder. Get him off the main event. Actually, what Jinder was doing was he fought Chad Gable. Minnesota owned Chad Gable. And he lost. Chad Gable lost to Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal finally won on Monday Night Raw, defeating the likes of Chad Gable. And we're not done with Jinder Mahal now, because Jinder Mahal did just come back later on in the night. So, Chad Gable lost to Jinder Mahal, and Chad was pushed. This is a Singh brother that was with Jinder, and then Jinder attacked him more. It was kind of all over the place. Raw was mostly boring. Honestly, in my opinion, SmackDown Live was kind of better than Raw. Blank doesn't agree with me, but I think SmackDown Live was a bit better than Raw this week. And I can't even remember Raw for the life of me. I remember the Elias versus Bobby Roode for the 1,400th time already. And now it's just given. Well, what's going to happen next week on Raw? We're going to have Bobby Roode versus Elias. Ladies and gentlemen, Elias. And, of course, Bobby Roode finally won. Maybe this will put an end to whatever they're doing and stop wrestling on Monday Night Raw. Or unless they're going to bring it to a pay-per-view, because why would we want to watch it on a pay-per-view if we've already watched it 3 times on Raw? Just saying. And I guess that's enough of me ranting about Elias and Bobby Roode. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had a segment backstage, just like me and Blank were talking about last week. But it was a little different than what we were both predicting. This time it was Kevin Owens backstage, remorsing on his match earlier with Braun Strowman. And Sammy was there, and he was like, hey, you need... So one of us needs to win. There's always a conspiracy against us. We had that SmackDown Live with Shane McMahon, and now we got Kurt Angle on Monday Night Raw. There's something against us. There's a conspiracy theory. But there was no conspiracy theory. And Sammy was like, one of us needs to win and get into that Money in the Bank briefcase match. Spoiler alert, none of them did. Anyway, Sammy was like, Kevin, I need you to have my back. And Kevin's like, alright, yeah, I got your back. Sammy's like, what you mean? Yup, you got my back? Kevin's like, no, I mean, yeah. And this led to nothing, because Kevin didn't come out at all. Sammy didn't. We'll get to that in the main event, but Kevin did nothing after this, which is odd. Very odd, actually. And then we had... Well, not and then. We had another segment, which was the Bobby Lashley segment. I honestly didn't understand the segment at all. It was kind of a segment. They were just kind of talking to Bobby Lashley, interviewing Bobby Lashley. And he was talking something about his family or whatever. I heard later on that it was something about his sisters. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care. You're not in the ring beating people up. You're not in the ring doing a promo. I don't care. If you're backstage, sure, I'll care a little bit. But if you're in the middle of what seems to be in the shed of somebody's farm, I don't care. Especially when Renee Young is just sitting there across from you. It's kind of a weird environment. You don't typically see that. It's odd. Anyway, I have nothing really to say about the Bobby Lashley segment there. Elias, we were already talking about the Elias thing. I guess we'll talk about the main event for Monday Night Raw, which was another qualifier. It was a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, and Finn Balor. Who won the match? Finn Balor. Sorry for the spoiler. Spoiler alert. Anyway, Finn Balor wins by a coup de grace. Anyway, enough with the spoilers, right? But Um, Roman, Finn, and Sami were doing the triple threat, and Finn Balor and Sami Zayn went off to attack Roman, and they attacked him throughout the arena that they were in. And then they left him there, and then they went back and forth in the ring, and then Roman came back in, and then Jinder Mahal came out. And Jinder Mahal attacked Roman, leading Jinder Mahal and Roman, which we don't want to see WWE. I don't want Roman versus Jinder. I don't want Jinder versus anyone. Jinder mid-card. Anyway, actually, put him back in 3MB. Actually, don't put him back in 3MB. Put him with... Who's failing right now? Put him with Breezango. I don't care. They're making a fool out of themselves anyway. Might as well put him with Breezango. Anyway, Finn Balor ended up doing the coup de grace and winning, entering the Money in the Bank match, which will be set in June with predictions. Anyway, that was Monday Night Raw. Let's move on to SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live was meh. I mean, it was a show. It was better than Raw, in my opinion. It started off with The Miz versus Jeff Hardy, and it was pretty back and forth. Jeff Hardy ended up doing the twist, or the Swanton Bomb, getting reversed into a Stone Crunching finale. Crushing finale. And Miz ultimately won with a roll-up, I believe it was. Paige actually started the show off by saying both AJ Styles and Shinsuke are here tonight and they'll say something. Which they both did get interviewed, but I thought they were going to do something in the ring, but whatever. After that, we had commercial break. There was a segment backstage with Sheamus and Cesaro, where Cesaro was laughing, whatever, and Sheamus was pissed about something last week. He was pissed about last week, and Cesaro was like, I don't know how you lost. I could do better. I could even beat him. And Sheamus is like, you know what? Then why don't you do it? Do it here tonight. So I was like, you know what? I will. And then he goes to open his bag and it's just full of pancakes. And Sheamus just bursts out laughing. And then Sheamus goes to open his bag and there's pancakes in there as well. And Cesaro was like, not as funny anymore, is it? And Sheamus is like, and then segment over. Which leads to Xavier Woods versus Cesaro later in that night. Nothing of importance really happened in the middle. Charlotte had a qualifier with Peyton Royce. Nothing really there. The women's Money in the Bank looks far worse than the men's. I will point that out. The women's Money in the Bank looks like someone took a plate and just smeared cheese all over it. It doesn't look good at all. Maybe next week I'll have an image of both the women's and men's Money in the Bank. Not this week though, considering we have SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw. But moving on from the whole women's stuff, we had Andrade Cien Almas will be debuting on SmackDown Live next week, which took about forever for Andrade Cien Almas to debut into the WWE. I thought Andrade Cien Almas was going to debut pretty soon, but speaking of debuts, when's Sanity debuting? Aren't they supposed to be debuting really soon too? Odd. Anyway, yeah, Andrade Cien Almas will be debuting next week on SmackDown Live. We'll review it next Thursday on SmackDown Live and Raw Reviews. Anyway, the main event of SmackDown Live is on not Andrade. Daniel Bryan versus Rusev in a qualifier match. We'll get to that in a second. AJ Styles and Shinsuke's interview. Shinsuke had his interview with Renee Young, and Shinsuke's like, no speaky English. And Renee Young's like, Shinsuke, clearly you speak English. I mean, and Shinsuke's like, I forgot. And Renee's like, oh, before you forget, can you give us a few words on what about AJ? He's like, I'm not done with AJ Styles. And then AJ's like, well, I'm not done either. And that's pretty much what AJ said. Which AJ, that chair shot, though, hit him right in that cheek. It really put something on his cheek. Anyway, the main event, Daniel Bryan versus Rusev. Rusev ultimately won this. It was a match. Rusev won, which I thought Daniel Bryan was going to win, to be honest, going into it. And then Rusev won. I'm like, Rusev day one? Huh? So, Rusev is qualified for the Money in the Bank, aka Rusev in the Bank, as Rusev likes to state it as it is. Anyway, that is both Raw and SmackDown predictions. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. I'm Mythical Monkey, and I'll see you guys for the next Mythical Monkey 3 channel video.